Okay, this lesson we're looking at sine and when it's positive and when it's negative. So let's do the first things first. Cast, C-A-S-T. If you have an angle anywhere in that section, in that quadrant, then sine will be positive, and it's also positive over here in the S. So all of those, sine will be positive. And if it's not in those, it's negative. Done. No understanding, just answers. Okay. Let's go to some understanding. Just because we can, 30 is an easy one. 1, 2, root 3. Sine theta, is O on H. So sine 30 is 1 over 2. We get that, don't we? It's O. Now remember, I used to, in that last video, my vertical line was red, so I'll keep that red. So it was red, the length of my red side over my hypotenuse. And that was my terminal ray. So let's just clean up some space. Now we're going to go to, that's my unit circle. That's my terminal ray. And I'm going to go, okay, this red line here is the same, I guess, as this y value here. Yep, so it's the y component, it's the y value. And over here, this point as a point would be root 3, 1, and that 1 is positive. Because the y component is positive, sine 30 is positive. Therefore, when you use the triangle to get the half, it's positive a half because the y value is positive. If I did, I'm going to do some examples. Okay, so let's just look at some random lines. Come on. So if I draw a terminal ray over here, I'm going to go, that point is the point negative something, alpha, negative beta. So sine aligns to the y component. What's the y component in quadrant 3? The y component is negative. So whatever that angle is, the sine of that angle will be negative because the y component is negative. Sine is negative in quadrant 3 because this y component is negative. Okay. Calculate sine of 330. Let's just go do an example. We don't have a calculator. You cannot use a calculator. So I've got to draw a triangle. I can't draw a triangle with 330 degrees in it, so I'm going to draw my unit circle. Where's my unit circle? And there is 330 degrees. I need a reference angle, green. So that's clearly 30 degrees because that big one was 330 degrees. It's this reference angle that tells me I would need to draw a triangle with a 30 degrees in it. There's my 30, root 3, 1, 2. Surely you can see that that triangle is actually that triangle there, just drawn a nice way. Easier to see. Okay, sine is O on H, so that's 1 on 2. 1 on 2. So we know that for this angle here, remember my vertical is my red line. How long is that red line? That red line is 1 long. How long is my terminal ray? Well, that is my terminal ray, so that is 2 long. Oops. Okay. So what we've got is sine is, we know it's a half because it's this opposite over hypotenuse. Yep, that's where the 1 and the 2 come from. But importantly, this point, this value of y is negative. So this is the point root 3, negative 1, isn't it? It's root 3 because that's root 3. And that 1 is a negative 1. Therefore, sine 330 is negative a half. We don't need to put all of that in there. We just need to understand why sine is negative down there, and it's because the sine is the y component of the terminal ray, and in quadrant 3, sine is negative. Love and trig. Sine, this is the last one. Sine 7 pi on 6. So I've got to draw a triangle, but I don't know what that, I can't draw a triangle with that angle in it. So I need to draw my unit circle. I need to draw 7 pi on 6. That is going to be 6 pi on 6 plus another pi on 6. So that whole thing is 7 pi on 6. And just that little thing there is pi on 6. So that's my reference angle here, pi on 6. So I need to draw pi on 6, 1, root 3, 2. It's another 30 degree, okay. So we know that sine is O on H, so it's O on H. So we know our answer is 1 on 2. Some teachers, some textbooks will actually draw the triangle in here and go 2, root 3, negative 1, but it makes this whole diagram very, very messy. I much prefer the 2 separate simple diagrams, less errors. Okay, so we know that sine 7 pi on 6 is going to be a half. We just got to work out whether it's positive or negative. So we're going to go over here. Sine is aligns to or is governed by the y component. In quadrant 3, sine is negative because down here, that y component is definitely a negative number. So my answer is not a half, it's negative a half. Okay, that's why and how it works. Make sure you understand that unit circle. Once you've got it nailed, you'll remember it for life.